It was not Texas.
Texas?
Texan breathing, second form gun.
Look, if Texas is hell, what the hell is Florida?
I'm pretty sure Texas and Florida are both at sea level, therefore they're both equally distant to hell.
Yeah, but
No.
like New Orleans is below. That imply.
Okay, so New Orleans is canonically closer to hell.
See, here's the thing: we don't know hell's lower.
I had to reread it.
Somewhere else.
I had to reread it, and I was just like,
Who
was that?
Good evening, everyone. How's it going, my fellow goers? Oh, I didn't get my drink. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Okay. I'm sorry about that. Ugh. So, how is chat? I am early. Almost expected a watch party. Yeah, I'm not going to be surprised if people don't show up today because I haven't been live on a Tuesday in like 2 months. So I'm not surprised. I probably should have warned people about that in advance. I didn't even think about it. But okay. I did already get the tweet out, so go give that some love. Let me grab our sauce for today. And otherwise, we're good to go. This is why you allow notifications. Indeed it is. Sometimes even the streamer is dumb. Ugh. Okie dokie. Ugh. Rongo Miniado. Here is today's artwork. Go give the artists some love. We are live on time-ish. This is about how I normally am. For those of you guys that are new to the stream in the last 3 months, I normally am live by like this time, but man, tax season make it rough because as I've explained before, in tax season I don't even get off work until 6, so being live by like 7 is near impossible. I can do it, but there's just usually too much I have to do around the house. Tuesday is how is this possible? Yes, exactly. So like I said, we finished our basically marathon of Avatar: The Last Airbender. We had watched some other stuff before, like House of the Ninja, and I'm trying to remember. I feel like there was another one that we watched before that. I've already fully watched the Fallout show, and I thought it was great. I'd be down, I guess, to watch it again in theory if people want to, but I feel like people are more interested in watching some other stuff. So probably this week at some point, I'm going to put a poll out there somewhere where you guys are going to be able to like vote for some of the top choices of things to watch, because I would still like to keep doing some sort of like community night like that, some sort of just like watch party where it's like we can just chill, relax, and have fun, because I think that works. I think a lot of people really enjoyed it, and I think it was awesome to like have a just chill day basically. But in the meantime, because of that, I haven't been live on Tuesdays, and then as a result, we also haven't been doing the media share nights, because I usually do those on Tuesdays. So I certainly could have done them on a different day, and we'll maybe think about that sort of thing in the future. But at least for right now, I was like, well, we're not sure what we want to do on a Tuesday, so let's go ahead and actually be live for it. Let's do media share, which is really funny because I'm still like, it's weird because I feel like energetic. I'm excited to like be live for you guys again today, but like at the same time, I am still like internally worn down from basically the last couple months here. So I'm not gonna like get rest until I actually get to the weekend. It's funny because like even just like getting up right before stream, I'm not talking about like where I had to go get my drink there, but like getting up right before stream, I was like, oh, because like every time I sit down, my muscles are just like locking into position and keeping me in that position. But now it's like when I get up, I'm like, oh God, it aches. Everything hurts. It's a good break from FGO. I think it is too, right? Like, I think it's actually really nice. And like I said, I was talking to you guys about this yesterday. It's like, I still want to emphasize how much I love FGO, how much I am committed to this game. But there are definite days where it's like when I'm streaming FGO every single day, every single week, and there's nothing going on necessarily in the game, that people often have a tendency to get really negative. And they start asking me negative questions. That makes me negative. And then people are like, oh, why is Cad so negative all the time? So I actually feel like it's better on some of those days where there's truly nothing to do something else, like a watch party, stream a different game, you name it. And I think that's actually going to be better for us, both as a community and just like mentally overall. Cad hasn't recovered his 3 command seals yet. Wait. I mean, yeah, if you're reading in game, I was like, hold on, I don't think I've used any command seals, but yeah. So today we're going to be doing the NACQ. I have it on the schedule that we're supposed to be doing Ordeal Call, but we finished, if any of you guys didn't stay last night, we finished Ordeal Call basically last night, so I don't have to do that anymore. So I pretty much have the NACQ left to do. I have the Olga quest to do here on JP, but I'm not going to do that tonight probably. And then I have, obviously we're going to be doing recording and prep for the upcoming Bunyan collab. So if you guys saw, I did get the event preview guide out for that today. And today we're probably going to be recording the Bunyan analysis, like the actual Super Bunyan analysis. So that's kind of on the to-do list, on the docket, if you will. Variety is the spice of life. Yeah, and I actually, like, the more I stream, the more I'm beginning to realize that is just the case, right? Been painting up some Warhammer models. Nice. 30k World Eaters? Wait, so, like, I know 40k, like, it's called 40k because it's, like, the year 40,000. So, like, I was unaware there's, like, 30k stuff. Is that like just earlier in the timeline? I couldn't be bothered reading ahead and just Immortal Comp the CQ. Listen, I love hearing that because that's probably what I'll do. Like, I at this current point in time, I can't be asked until I'm actually caught up on everything in FGO. Because like behind the scenes, what you guys don't see is I am still trying to roll out my Grail casting for the month on JP. I'm about, I think I'm about like 1,500-ish coins into the first Grail, so I've got about 2,500 coins left to go. But it still just takes a while. But in the meantime, in the interim, I have been going around. I've already started talking to some people that I've been like kind of putting stuff off basically until the end of tax season. I've particularly artists. I've been like going like, oh man, I've really got to get back in touch with some of these people. Not that like people that are actively working on stuff for me, I am very engaged with and would talk with, but people that are how should I put this? Like maybe on a more long-term project, or maybe like not necessarily working constantly on something, I just went ahead and said like, okay, I'm not going to bother them too much because I don't have time to sit there and play tag with people. So now it's like, okay, I'm back to playing tag with people. Had an amusing Chin Gong comp for the CQ. Nice. 30k is a Space Marine Civil War. That's a thing? They can do that? Isn't that like treason? Oh wait, no, isn't that the whole thing with like the Emperor's like sons? Isn't that what was going on there? I feel like I remember that in that video that we watched in one of the media share nights with I think it was Bricky, who was who the video was by. Yeah, the Horus Heresy. The Horus Heresy. Yeah, that's one other way of putting it. It's just a serving gauntlet. You don't really need invincible comp so much as just enough damage. So invincible comp is what you're saying. Don't get me wrong, right? Like, I completely agree, but it's like, oh my god, I will just go with whatever the solution is that's the simplest. So if you guys have an easy comp, just give it to me and I'll do that. Oh, I see what happened here. I actually see what happened here. I just did not plug suit, but it's okay. It'll still kill. Oh. Okay, maybe it's not okay. Hold on. No, I was supposed to charge. Well, since we're not doing the Olga quest today, here we go. Feels weird, man, but if I had literally just done the arts card, that would have worked. Use Taisui. Yeah, Taisui would probably be pretty good. I think the only issue would be if there's night classes in it. They turn traitor and cause civil war. Hello, Shaq. How's it going? Hello, Avalon. Tuning into a command seal. Yeah, it's the best content that you can expect out of me, right? I just black grailed with an MP4 120 Space Ishtar and 2 times Castoria and I think Oberon for good measure. I mean, is it actually like 3 turnable? If that's the case, then yeah, I'll absolutely do that. Cad, where can we media share and what are the rules for it? So media share is basically done by going on the Discord and going into the content suggestion box and pasting stuff in. I will say this particular time I've got quite the backlog of videos. So if you guys are recommending me to watch stuff like now, I might not get to it tonight. But the goal will be to do media share enough to clear that out at least some, so that way I get to stuff that people actually want me to watch with a somewhat relevant time span. But the only rules that I would say are just like, make sure the content in and of itself is not too long. I don't usually like to watch something that's over like 20 minutes just because it's like I feel like it's easy for people to like sit there and go from video to video when I'm watching something that's relatively short. But if I watch something that's longer than say 20 minutes, people begin to tune out, especially if it's like, well, they don't really care, right? Like maybe the video that I'm watching is just not something that they're akin to or really liking that much. You can loop it. Sweet. Works for me. Wild Things of WoW, thank you for the resub. Thank you for the Prime for 3 months. Should someone who's only in a try JP also win our account reviews coming back? Someone who's only in a try JP. I would say there's no harm in trying it, but it can be a little bit of a bear to set up depending on the device that you're on. And my advice long term is that like you basically shouldn't bother playing a second account or a second server if you don't feel like you can devote enough time to make sure that it's good, right? Like, because you'll just be like, oh crap, my account sucks and I can't do a lot of this content if you're just not playing regularly and stuff like that. When are account reviews coming back though? That one's just up in the air. I'm not gonna ever say like never, but I at least have gone on the record of saying that nowadays, for the most part, I don't feel like people get very much out of it because there's so many people that do the support list reviews. And even though account reviews are much more holistic and actually helpful to people, I feel like it's sort of been cheapened by a lot of the people doing that. I did put out a video that talks a lot about like how to review your own account and stuff to get, and I could easily at some point like go through my own account and talk about things that are concerns and stuff. But for the most part, like, I kind of realized that doing a lot of account reviews over and over and over and over again was putting a massive strain on my voice. So I've kind of retired from it, at least for now. And we'll see whether or not I feel the desire to bring it back at some point. Put CAD stream VODs in the media share. Got it. I mean, you could do that. I'm not going to say I wouldn't react to my own video, but it would need to be like something I hadn't seen in a long time. And even at that point, it would feel really self-patronizing. Bring Invuln Pierce to the CQ? Okay. Like I said, we did beat Ordeal Call 2 last night, so I definitely don't have to do that, which means I really don't have to do much of anything on JP. I basically can waste some of the time by doing some of the free quests, though, which is probably what I will do. Let me see here. Where's a good free quest? All Berserkers that I can do. And actually, if it's all Berserkers, it'd be a little spicy, but I can probably manage it. Let me find a good structure for this. Well, that one potentially might work. Wait, where is she? Why am I blind? Holy crap, I'm just not seeing her. There she is. God, right next to all the whatchamacallits. Let's do that. And that's pretty much full cost there. I think Rider Altar still needs to bond. Oh yeah, there we go. Hold on, chat. Let's use some Andromeda. Oh, my skill levels are pathetic on her. Let's be safe then, and let's do some like traces. She should still be able to kill. But there we go. Level your servants? Oh no, I actually started leveling them today. It's just like I've been rolling out FP, so I'm just using the embers from that to level them. And they're chat, trust me when I say this, it's like they're the only ones that are unleveled on my account. I do need to take a good hard look at Andromeda skill set though and come up with like some better skills for her though. Okay, let's do that. Go ahead and do that. Let's get her out of here. I probably should have saved her, but it'd be what it be. Oh, Burning said that to you? Okay, I figured he was saying it to me. I don't remember which one has the skill or the charge. I think it's that one. Oh, maybe not. Hold on. What the heck was that? Okay, it's the first one that has its 30%. And the second one is charged MP when taking an attack. Well, nobody here is going to hit her, so I don't have to do anything else. Oh man, there's super delay on the sound. This is super weird. remember when I started the game about a year ago, nobody was really talking about how good low star units can be during the early stage of your account development. I actually talk a lot about that in the new player guide. I've never made a video on it though. Let's do that. A little bit worried that I'm not going to have enough charge here with all berserkers. Well, now I'm definitely not going to have enough charge. I wasn't going to have enough charge either way, but... It's just a great single target rate to start with, but doesn't really explain the reasons why. Yeah, like I actually go in depth and talk about, like, here's what's good about the units in each one of them. And usually there's a reason why I'll say it as well. I'd prefer not to have to do the mighty chain, but it is what it is. Oh wow, that actually didn't kill. I'm surprised. All right, now let's see if an unbuffed Andromeda can actually, well, I say unbuffed, but she's gonna have the Mystic Code, but can actually kill the enemies here, and I don't think she will. Darius requires so few skills and materials. It's really nice to know. Yep. Yeah, no, like I said, I detail a lot of this. I talk about the low star units to watch out for earlier in your account and denote like why they're good and what's good about them, right? And so like I even talked about, I believe, Darius and the fact that he does not have to really have any of his skills leveled. And I basically said, like, you have a choice. It's like you can go with Darius, or you can kind of choose to go with like a lower star, potentially Kiyohime. And it's like Kiyohime kind of has a higher upside, but requires just so much more investment that it's like it's not really worth. So at that same time, it's because Kiyohime kind of needs an upgrade, but I don't mention stuff like that. Wonder if we'll get something tomorrow. We probably got one more week left for JP. I mean, we basically know when we're getting the collab, so. Can you look at your video about Habitrot again? I'm struggling to figure out how to use her properly. What are you struggling with? Yeah, like double castery is an easy way to do it, but I think one of the probably best uses of her involves using her third skill, where you basically charge her up to full and you allow her to like take out an early wave under her own power, but then also like basically just flip back around and end up like having her basically kill herself, so that way you can bring somebody else in and have them handle the subsequent waves. And that works really, really well with her. I think it's something that a lot of people kind of overlook, is that she can be a higher rank, a higher rarity of a rash, basically. Yeah, Bunyan collab is Friday, straight up. Like, we pretty much know, and I'd be shocked if it's not. Dude, okay, hold on. I have no idea why there's such delay on the sound. I feel like it's getting closer, but it's still not quite there. Wondering if I'm hearing things. You're definitely not. It's like there's some sort of weird desync with the capture card and or OBS at the moment. Hold on, chat. I get the feeling if I just restart OBS, it'll fix itself. Okay. Yeah, I think it did. All right, sweet. Do you think Aoka will get the same treatment as Shiki, a welfare SR, and a Gacha SSR for red-haired version? There's definitely enough characters in Mihoyo that like they can easily not have to do repeat versions, but we'll see whether or not that is like what they go with, right? Quick question, what's the difference between Black Grail and the Berserker Black Grail? Like, is there a reason to pick one or the other? Black Grail itself, the proper version, is always better, other than the fact that you take a little bit of damage. Otherwise, the Berserker Black Grail is more specific and has less attack, but it also doesn't have the damage proc on it. Like where you take damage from it. Man, I still can't get that back to 50. What the shit? That is surprising. That does nothing for me. I haven't read Mihoyo. Is it good? I haven't either, but from everyone I've heard of, it is. But yeah, basically just the OG Black Grails is just basically considered to be just always better, right? Like it's more widely applicable. It has more attack. It just has a small downside, but most people don't care about the downside. So that downside usually only comes into play in boss battles and CQs. Probably better if I just use Oberon instead of the third Scotty here. My personal favorite of the MC is kind of bland. When the 500 tick was eating away at your summer Castoria, I mean, that wasn't the issue, right? Like it was straight up like what the boss was doing more than the 500 tick. Usually you can manage it. It's just, yeah, there's definitely fights where it's like, oh man, I'm like I've got a ton of ailments on me, and it's like, well, that's not helping. You're definitely getting chipped away at. So there could be a problem with it, but like I said, it's usually just going to be those challenge scenarios where you're like, okay, well, this is something I need to consider. But usually the benefit far outweighs the downside, right? Like just having all of that extra sorry, I'm just thinking here. Usually far outweighs the downside there by having all that extra damage. Worst part of BG's chip damage is the extra time it adds. Yeah, I mean, it's not too bad. Heal from the Mystic Code to mitigate it. True, but you could also, at that point, if you're really worried about it, you could just throw healing command codes on, right? Like, there's always more options for you. And that's kind of why, to a large degree, like, damage is just so meta in this game, is because, like, you usually have a defensive means by which to take care of everything that you do. And it becomes more about, like, just being able to actually dish enough damage. Is Black Grail a good CE for Morgan on the Immortal comp? Yeah, I mean, I usually go with it because basically it's just more damage when you actually get to NP, and the majority of the time in the Immortal comp, that 500 damage tick just does not matter because you're sitting there and like healing up with Merlin and stuff like that. So usually it's a-okay. Yeah, whatever. Let's do that. 500 damage is really nothing, yeah. I mean, like, over the span of a long fight, it's something. But really, yeah, it's not like you can't get rid of it. Are we watching the live stream Thursday? We'll watch the live stream Thursday. It's just a light stream, so they're probably just going to announce Bunyan, but as always, we'll watch it just to see, because, like, I'm going to be curious of two things. One, do they announce anything else? And two, is Albert going to be how he was on the prior stream, which was by far one of the worst streams I've ever seen of him. So I'll be very curious to see if he's still like that, because if he is, I'm going to start calling him out a lot more publicly in that regard. Like, I like Albert. I have no problems with him, but like, he's paid to do a job, and that job is not to make the game look bad. And it kind of looks bad when you're the chief localization guy and you're doing streams and you're just like unenthusiastic. Maybe he won't be asleep. Yeah, like, I'm hoping it was just a one-off. It's my 6th drop now. Holy crap. They said Michael will be with him, so it should be better. That will probably help. Yeah. And it's like, if that's all it takes, if all it takes is to have somebody there with Albert, then I'm fine with that. Just do that, right? Like, but holy crap, they cannot do what they did in the prior stream. It just looks terrible. Most people look tired or annoyed, like they didn't really care about the game or something. I don't know. Yeah, and it's like they can't be giving off that perception. It's like, you are the game's representation in that regard. Okay, that's an interesting setup. So I could take her, or, and hear me out, chat, I could take Booba Mart. Let's do Booba Mart. I mentioned Michael in the survey. They should integrate him into the live stream events more often, if not always. Yeah, I think Michael is, I'm not going to say like charismatic. Like, it's not like Michael got that riz, right? Like, it's just, Michael seems more enthusiastic. He seems like he actually cares and enjoys his job, right? Like, so in that regard, I think he's great to have on. And I think he's usually entertaining to a degree. And so regardless, he just feels like the better option to use. Hot elf? Yes. Wait, doesn't Burrito Mart have NP gain? I feel like she has MP gain. Been a hot second. We're to the point, chat, that like I use so many of these people and I go like, man, like it's been a hot second since I've used you, and there's so many units that it's hard to remember off the top of my head the thing that exactly that you had. If this were NA, I'd just quickly pop it open and read it real fast, but on JP I have to like have the wiki open on the side. And usually I could like open it up and I can see the wording there enough to be like, it's got some sort of NP effect. Michael has more fun with the game and the story. Yeah, I think so too. 3-turn grind comp that doesn't involve a rash dying every time? Good, congrats. That's always a good milestone. Kitsune, thank you for the 37. How you doing? Okay, so let's... Wait, I didn't pop... What? I don't know what I was doing there. I didn't even pop the basic attack up and quick up there. I would love to know what Burrito Mart's NP is a reference to, because I feel like it's a reference to something and I'm just not aware of what it is. Brain dead from all the cone farming. Yeah. I get it. Most of you guys should be finishing up now. Like, I've heard like most people at this point have like done all of their cones and are like kind of done and like trying to figure out what to do with the shop. Like, or not the shop, like with their AP. In that regard, there's several things to do with your AP right now in NA. If you guys are already done with the event, there's like half cost Ember Gathering, half cost for some of the strengthenings and interludes. Obviously, there's like getting caught up on story and stuff like that if you're not there. So there should be plenty still. Why was Redcon so rare? I don't know. That's how it was on JP2 though. Just farming bond monuments pieces. Yeah, I don't blame you for that. I think that's actually a good idea. All right, so there's JP finally done. Let's go touch NA. Because chat, what am I doing on NA? I don't know. Well, I have no earthly idea what the heck I want to do. I'm just trying to get all the silver apples from the event. Yeah. So if you guys haven't already realized, you can rebuild the like parts of the resort that you didn't build originally. And if you didn't build it originally and you're building it now, you can get apples from it. So there is a reason still to do it. And to be clear, chat, I am talking about coming in here and doing the remake stuff. So basically you picked one of the options as you went through the story, but there are two other options you probably didn't pick. And so as a result, you can go in there and you can try to complete them. It does cost cons each time, but each one gives an apple. And so as a result, it's kind of worth, but it definitely depends on like how much time it's going to take you to do it. Cause you don't have very much longer left in the event. Basically like, yeah, you're north a little bit of 2 days right now. So you got like 2 days, 4 hours basically remaining in the event. Blah, 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 blah. Did not know that? Yeah. What was I doing? Oh, right. Yeah. So I was actually coming in here and doing this, chat. You would never guess, but CAD was Ember Gathering. It's half cost. I need a ton for 120s, and it's actually the Rider Day, which is the current 120 that I'm working on. So that is what I've been spending my AP down on. CQ, we will do it. I just need to get like my AP ticking. I don't want to like go in and spend 5 AP on a CQ, and by the time I get out of it, have it like refilled the full, right? And now, chat, if you guys haven't already done it since the event back in January, you can loop your gray. Feels good. I still have all the new advanced quests left to do. Yeah, and I'll probably here, like we're gonna do the CQ, and I'll probably get my AP a little bit lower after that. And then with what time we have remaining until like 9-ish, well, no, probably like until 8:30-ish. I will do the advanced quest with you guys. And the reason being is because I do still have to do the Bunyan recording today. Hello, Katana. Need more bond before I can get to 120? Yeah. Yeah, Maid Altar is who I'm currently grailing. I have literally gone down the list. I've done Bunny. I've done OG Artoria. I've done Squirtoria. And I've done Lartoria. So now we're on Maid Altar. Rats tomorrow then? Yes, probably. Like, and I say probably as in that is my plan, but obviously the best laid plans of mice and men go awry. And Mary Anning, that is the plan as well. Any Saberface with full paws? Bunny has full paws. I believe Lartoria is who's currently getting worked on now. You guys should be somewhere in that second one. It's funny too, because then eventually we're gonna get the like big handout that JP got, and it's like you're gonna go from having like 1.5 units faux pod to suddenly you have like 5 units faux pod. It's really stupid. They give out more in one day than they had given out previously in like 3 years. It's really sad. Not seeing much love in the Mordred department? That's right. You're not. I love Mordred just as much as the next guy, but she's basically I will focus the Artorias first. That is my hard and fast rule. And then we'll go to the other saber faces. Okay, so let's do the CQ. Chat has said 2 things. 1, that I can loop it, and 2, that I need invuln pierce. So I'm gonna trust chat, which is foolhardy of me. Hey, where was my actual, like... Oh, did I already get rid of it? Oh, no, okay, there's my comp. This is my 90 plus comp. Go ahead and do Tai Sui, as chat has said. There he is. I forgot he's already in the party. And then we'll go... Bloop. 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 Speaking of, I actually do need to bond my maid altar a little bit here. Actually, wait, is it maid altar that I need to bond? Yeah, I think it is. I think I have to get her to the last one and then she'll be done coins-wise. Not gonna matter, we're just gonna stick mash on the back line. She'll let me take something else C-wise. On to Mystic Code. Mystic Code. Okay, there we go. Tai Sui might have a rough time. We'll find out. Make it an archer or a saber killer? Sure, maid altar. 5 of the 7 units are night class. Listen, chat said Tai Sui, we're doing Tai Sui. Okay. Lil Con has this? I don't know. Okay, we bar popped at least one. We didn't get close saber. Hmm. Let's do it like that. So I feel like this is probably gonna kill everybody except the two knights, and then hopefully carding mops up Marianning. Yep. Sorry, not Marianning. And Mary. Oh my God, Mary Anning has completely replaced the Yuri pirates in my brain. This is not good, chat. Gonna go ahead and pop that here because I low-key want the Trung sisters dead. Tax season destroyed it. I mean, yeah. And Bonnie and Mary Reed. Thank you, God. Anne and Mary. You gotta admit, that one's at least close. Okay, good. We got the Trung sisters down. The only unfortunate part is I could have gotten the NP. Well, I could have gotten the bar closer on Artemis, but I don't think she'd have killed. Oh my God, no. This is gonna start getting spicy here in a minute. Because at the moment I didn't bring healing in this. If I had literally just brought Tamamo, this is probably trivially easy. Okay, there we go. Ooh, invuln. Okay, hold on. Is this stacks? Ignore a sure hit and reduce attack 2 left. All right. No way, man. I was like, I could probably live without popping the gut. No, I can't. They saw blood. No, I made the deliberation there to try and bait one more turn without the guts, and they just immediately punished. Immediately. Both the first 2 attacks straight onto Taisui. So I was like, yep. My pride got in the way. Now you'll guts and he'll never be hit. Yeah, 100%. That is usually how that works. They go kill one of the Castorias instead. Well, they certainly tried. I think we're actually going to do it that way. Give Castoria the extra stack here. What's up, Drink? Okay. Chad, when you said super fast, I hope you realized that that was not going to happen. Wait, was that a... Oh, no, okay. I was going to say, was that a total drain? But no, she hit the one that already had used her NP. In my run, nothing happened. Yeah. I mean, she's AoE, so there's at least somewhat of a problem there, but, and it's also probably at the point in the run where most people run out of, most people run out of buffs. Apparently Space Ishtar with Black Grail can blitz this. I don't even think you have to have Space Ishtar. Like, people were saying they did it with Musashi Berserker. Okay, we got both bars popped. Just don't hit left, Castoria. It's exactly what they did. Oh, wait, what? Huh? All right. They ignore defensive buffs, not invincible? Huh? Saying it's part of the CQ mechanic. God damn it. I feel like you're saying that wrong because that's not a thing. Wait. Wait, what? Wait, what? Oh, fuck off. Stupid iPhone. No, so chat, allow me, okay? This is Invuln Pierce. This is defense buffs, which is specifically defense, not all defensive buffs. Solemn defense does not get ignored. We warned you, kill her fast? Yeah, I have no idea what happened right there. Okita Summer strips defense buffs. Okay, that's a little bit more like oof. But that's like, I'm just confused as to like, one, how right Castoria died. Maybe she got hit and lost the solemn defense stack ahead of that. But two, then like how that killed. So at least if you're telling me that she does that, now I know. Ooh, that taunt. That taunt is a spicy meatball. Let's try that. Yeah. I can't help it. Ash dropped a 380 on the extraction point. Wait, what? She got hit before the twins. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I must have like been talking with chat and just like missed that happening. Because that's why I was like, hold on. There was just a sequence of events that I was like, that should not have happened. And that'll do. Which, honestly, that is what I should have done on the prior one. I just didn't think Tai Sui was going to basically be that close to killing. I actually thought I was going to have to survive around. But, no, yeah, so that worked. Again, was it pretty? Did I have to scuff? Yes. Like, it was a thing. But, like, did it work? Yeah, it still worked. Usually, damage bonus... the damage bonus unit can bully the node. That was Dioscuri and P website, wasn't it? Yes. Yeah, the one that I pulled up before. I did a funny button and got the Trung sisters. I have Dioscuri, but I have who knows how. Maybe they're just as good. So in a weird way, the Trung sisters are arguably better than Dioscuri. Dioscuri is really nice because they have, as you saw there with the NP, basically Invuln Pierce on NP and ignore defense buffs. So like bosses that try to reduce your damage or by having defense or sit there and pop Invuln, Dioscuri does not care and carves them up like a knife through butter. But the Trung sisters are just really solid for damage and still manage to like heal the party and stuff. So it's they're both good. They're not mutually exclusive by any means either, so you can use them side by side, but like, oh man, there's no problem with having both. That's all I'll say. Dio Twins have great refund with skills. Yeah, they kind of need the cards is their issue, but their cards, if you get them, are just like, you just sit there and you kind of laugh at everything that you're doing. Trung MP is super pretty. It is, but it's also long. That is the problem with the Trung sisters. Okay, chat. Nope, not back in there. That took longer than I wanted it to for the CQ, but well, if it had been a longer CQ, it would have taken that long anyways. No! I've lost my daily embers. At least the rider one. Yeah, Maestro got me here. There we go, chat. Perfect. Although, actually, I think this is the caster day, isn't it? No. Is it the caster day? Caster day should be Friday. No, wait. Maybe I'm thinking of trading grounds. Oh, hold on. Let's not do that. Let's not. Oh, shit. I totally forgot about that. I totally forgot that's what the charge was on. Oh well, we'll make it work. Gameplay wise, I prefer the Trunks. Design wise, I prefer Pollux. Design wise, I prefer Pollux. It's difficult for me to say like which one I prefer design wise. They're so different. Barton, they give it the 65. How you doing, bud? And Shadow, they give it the 55 as well. Hope you guys are doing good today. Just crit the last wave. That is what we're going to play towards. We're going to hope to God that that's the case. It's been a hot second, and I don't like, this is one of the reasons I don't like using double Oberon, is I'm really tempted to scuff it every freaking time. Which is funny because double Oberon comps can actually be stronger than double K and Skya comps in some cases, and it just really depends on the unit. And of course I get a singular card for her. And it is in fact casters. No. So I was just screwed here no matter what. But it's okay. We can do that. This thing should only attack once anyway, so I don't think it's going to kill any of the Oberons unless it just crits out of the gate. Yeah, there you go. All right, that should... Still no Buster card. You're kidding me. I'm gonna do it just for the frickin' whatchamacallit at this point. For the charge. Because I gotta get her to 50 in order to pull it off. There we go. Oh, and of course she actually had the Buster back that turn. So we lost all the Koya and Skya buffs, but well, it be what it be. I just want to see if the cheeky Buster crit actually happens. It doesn't. Time to NP, yes. Almost to the end of my semester. Nice. Yeah, I am at my summer break. And by summer break, I mean I still have to work the rest of this week and next week. And I did hear we had our post-tax season meeting this morning, and it was like 3 hours long. I just tore them a new one. But in the process, I did manage to fish out of them. I think they're going to give us a tax day, which is just the firm's way of saying everybody gets a day off, which is like, oh, thank God. So I don't know when they're planning on that, but they said maybe this Friday. So we'll just have to see. I hate long meetings. I mean, it was productive, so I'm happy with it. That's double X or all the Rongo Miniad NP's AoE. Yes. Because you have basically... So, this depends on what you consider a Rongo Miniad NP. But, again, like, you have, like, Lartoria, obviously. And then you have Gray, obviously. And then it gets a little bit more debatable from here because you have Morgan, who's technically, you know, you'd have to get into story specifics there. But then you also end up having Bunny as well. And Bunny's is Brighton Hungwin, which is the basically the hall that Arthur used to hold court in. But hilariously enough, it's her ship in that, and she straight up says the line of firing Rongo Mini, and then she like corrects herself. So it isn't heavily implied that she's using her umbrella, which is Rongo Miniad, and that's what the ship's gun is. They just don't really give you that specific. So it's like whether or not Bunny's NP is Rongo Miniad remains to be seen, but it kind of is the case. What did I do here? Okay, yeah. Didn't know that? Yeah, it's funny. You gotta look at her voice lines. And we do know Bunny has Rongo Mania. That is what her umbrella is. Company's in the process of rebranding. My boss put me in charge of all the internal comms rebranding. Good experience, but I'm so tired. Yeah, I get that. Like, having to take on increased responsibility at work is just exhausting. There's also an unreleased unit that's story spoilers. LB6. What? Huh? I'm confused as to who you're talking about, but obviously if it's spoilers, don't say it. Oh, here we go, chat. Boom. Unreleased on an A, I mean. Are you meaning Morgan Summer? Yeah, if that's what you're meaning, then that's fine. I was just confused as to what you were talking about. And Neo, they give her the 58. God damn. You getting up there. Okay, chat, hold on. As much as I would like to keep doing this, I should probably switch to an actual writer. Yeah. We end up watching Cat in a retirement home. Listen, if I can manage to keep you guys' attention and entertain you for that long, I consider that a success. What? Why are you me? Wait, isn't this inflict stun after one turn, right? So I don't really want to pop that this turn. Put the spoilers in Discord? Oh, what? Put it in the spoiler channel in Discord? Oh, yeah, but... So technically that's not wrong-go. And I could explain that, but I would also have to get into spoiler territory. Wait, hold on. Chad, does this occur at the end of this turn? Don't pop. Okay, yeah, that's... It's been a hot second since I've had to use her. Explain, I must know. No. You not get no explanation. Summer Irish win? Never. Or type don't we have? If you're asking classes, there's still quite a few. Chad, if Ishtar's going to sleep anyways, we may as well add a stun to that. There you go. It's rare. I don't use her very often, but there's your Rider Ishtar loop. Bring it double Oberon, man. I have to actually think with these comps. Should have buffed skill 3. Yeah, honestly, skill 3 could actually kind of use it. It's a strong skill, but it's like that again, the stupid like self-stun or like whatever type of demerits are always really just dumb. Wait, no, we don't have. What they're talking about isn't a big deal. It's really not. It's like it's just, I guess, to protect people that haven't done LB6. It's kind of important. All right, let's see if double Scotty can do it. They'll buff Summer Tama to get rid of the stun, but not Rishtar. No. I mean, I'm happy we actually have the charge skill now on Tama, so like you can now effectively use your Summer Tama, which is really just nice, honestly. Because before it was like, yeah, no dice. Like, you basically used her, you know, either to try and one-shot something with Black Grail or, like, kind of not at all. Because the issue that you had was always trying to, like, loop her. And you could do it with cards. Like, Summer Tama's card performance is not bad. But, yeah, you're beholden to the RNG at that point. So actually giving her a charge skill allows her to just function in an automatic way. And it's really nice. They still haven't buffed Fran to get rid of her stun. I don't think they ever will. Not in her case, at least. Because it's kind of the major gimmick that she's designed around. If you look at, like, Tamacat, it's the same deal. They didn't get rid of her stun. They just gave her debuff immunity for one time. So that way you could at least, like, deal with it and be able to NP again with her. But I do think it is an issue. I think it's, like, something that they probably should address at some point. Because otherwise it's just gonna, I think, be something that keeps kind of cropping up and bothering them. It didn't have to do with Buntoria, as... Because demerits are fun. Yeah, I don't... Like I said, I don't really think anyone finds demerits fun. I do think that, like, some people are like, well, demerits are okay. Like, they provide some nuance to the unit, and they're interesting, but I don't think anyone goes, oh man, that demerit's fun, right? Like, so I think this is something that a lot of game developers should just ultimately always side on, is regardless of what they are doing in a game, they should ask themselves, is what I'm doing going to increase the enjoyment of the game? Is it fun? And if it's not fun, the developer probably shouldn't do it. And that sounds weird, but it's like, to give you some examples, it's like, this is where sometimes pursuing realism gets annoying. So, like, some of the realistic aspects of Dragon's Dogma are really fun. And then you get, like, to the inventory management, and you're like, wait, that's not fun. That's just tedious and annoying. So it's kind of like that, right? Where, hey, yeah, it's not just that, like, realism is bad. It's that, like, it's how you choose to implement it and on what things. I think it'd be fun to work around. Yeah, assuming there is a decent way to work around them, right? Like, for instance, Imperial Privilege on certain units over a long period of time was just an annoying mechanic in that regard, because it was very frustrating and there wasn't a lot you could do to make it actually, like, more consistent. Then along came buff success chance people, but even then, like, none of the buff success chance people are really a, like, meta support. So you always have to, like, if you're taking a unit that has Imperial Privilege and you're trying to make them, like, 3-turn or something like that, you usually have a weird, like, hung open type of build in order to help it happen, because you just don't have those normal meta supports that you would always take. You can take some of them, but you have to have one spot available for that, like, buff success chance unit. Inventory management time, yeah. Look at Ryder Liz, her demerits aren't bad. Fran's demerits don't matter at all. Saber Fran's demerits don't matter at all. I don't know about Saber Fran's. I've had Saber Fran practically kill herself with her burn. Her burn's pretty nasty for the amount of health she has. But yeah, like, to a large degree, it's like those are easily dealable with, and they're not, like, super debilitating. And then it's like, yeah, you get someone like Summer Okita, and you're like, what the fuck are you doing, people? Is it possible to 3-turn the water monster crisis challenge quest? Well, there's how much? There's 7 enemies and everybody has 2 break bars, so I don't think it's possible to 3-turn, but it would be possible to 4-turn in theory. Chad, I don't think we're gonna get to the advanced quest because CAD messed up here. I will take responsibility for it. You mean like Nero? Yeah, like, and you could always just say, well, hey, I don't care about the Imperial Privilege proc and go without it. It's just, usually for a lot of those units, Imperial Privilege is a good chunk of their damage capability, because, like, you look at someone like Nero and it's like, bam, that's like 40% damage right there. So, like, it's pretty rough if you whiff that. It's not like it's a requirement, and certainly if you have a strong enough unit to do the node anyways, in spite of it, it's no big deal. But in the cases where you actually do need it, it's like, yeah, it's kind of annoying. Some are often too reliant on it and don't have it in their kit. Hans, for example, yeah. It's not worth doing since all the buff will run out before you can finish off the enemy. Wait, what do you mean? You don't have to worry about Jekki to stun if all of your enemies are dead. Yeah, you would only need to worry about it if you needed like a refund in that regard. So it's like, to a large degree, you could argue that like her demerits don't matter, but having had to use Jetkita in actual fights, they do matter, and I hate them. They're really annoying. What kind of hits like a wet noodle without her Imperial privilege? Yeah. Well, that is why they tried to give her things like water in city niche and her arts up. Because I think they realized where it's like, yeah, without that Imperial privilege, she's just oof. And so they've started to try and give some of those units more consistent damage. They did the same thing with Da Vinci. They did the same thing with Tesla. And I think it kind of shows where they go like, okay, yeah, hey, we have a conditional skill. But short of giving you the means by which to deal with it, we're at least going to give you a consistent steroid that you'll always be able to count on. So, because you can't 3-turn doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Oh yeah. The debuffs are stopping me from looping. I'm not happy with them. No, and in that regard, I do understand. Like, and I kind of agree. It kind of sucks when that's the case. Oh. How are you doing today, though, Astral? Oh my god, my back. Still in a dream, snake beater. Okie dokie dookie. From eater to beater, yes. Let us do the Super Bunyan. I just find it really interesting that we have Super Bunyan and Super Orion. And it's like, okay, what makes them super? I've always found that particularly curious about these units. Review time? Yes. Now, chat, you're going to love this. I had so much time today that I pre-reviewed this. Okay. Wait, why is Aurelia... Oh, I think I see what's going on. There you go. That was weird. My bad. Do you think Orion isn't super? No. I just like what quantifies Orion as super and someone like I don't know, like Tiamat is not super. Right? Like that's all I'm saying is like it doesn't seem to be a factor of like the character being big or strong. It just seems to be a factor of like it's whoever the fuck they want to call super. He's superhuman Orion. So this is superhuman Bunyan then. Isn't it compared to regular Orion? Probably at that point. Because again, we have an original version of Bunyan and this is just more powerful Bunyan. So I don't know. I think the weird part with Orion in that case though is that like, okay, well what's the rarity of the other variant of Orion? Oh, it's also a 5-star. So I don't know. Like, Zoomer Bunyan, yeah. A bear? Oh, okay. But that's Artemis? Not according to the game. It's Orion. So I hear you, but like it's Orion. Anyways. Hey guys, my name's Khadroth, and today we're going to be talking to you about Super Bunyan. So Super Bunyan is going to be our 5-star coming out with the collab event here on Friday. And Super Bunyan has been a very interesting character. In fact, it has been alleged that a lot of people don't like the implementation of Bunyan, but I'm not going to talk too much about the actual character and instead focus more on how good the unit can be, because I think that's what's actually important to a lot of you, and I think that's the entire point of me doing one of these analyses. Now, Super Bunyan is a single target buster alter ego. And so as a result, there is some easy sort of competition from the likes of, say, Meltrolus, and then also ending up with our welfares in a sense of like the Mecha Ellie twins. And so as a result, there is some easy to sort of procure competition from her, especially since you guys just recently went through the Halloween event on NA last year that gave you easy access to them. So in that regard, I think a lot of people are going to look at Bunyan and go, well, maybe I don't necessarily need her. There's other options like Seatonai as well, and just in general, the cavalry units that can also end up being competition. So the thing about Super Bunyan is Super Bunyan just hits really freaking hard and has a lot of buster synergy. So she's got that going for her, which is nice. But I am going to say that you will be surprised by some of the damage numbers we're going to show, and I'm going to get into that towards the end of this analysis, but let's go ahead and talk all things Super Bunyan. Now, remember, Super Bunyan is derivative of the 1-star welfare that we had back in the day, who is an AoE Buster Berserker. This one's going to be a single target 5-star alter ego who's Buster, but there is going to be some similarity in the kit. Let's go ahead and talk about the stats, though. So right off the bat, you can see that she has about 11.5k attack. This is not stellar, in all honesty, for a 5-star. This is at least on the lower end, but it's not bad. It's not like she's not going to be able to do anything. Again, the big advantage of using her alter egos is going to be that, yes, they do have some scenarios like with foreigners where they're actually going to be truly effective, but there's also scenarios like just against the cavalry triangle where they're actually going to be able to deal at least semi-effective damage, basically 1.5 times effectiveness instead of the standard 2 times effectiveness. So in that regard, they can actually be a decent unit to take into nodes where you're going to be worried about having mixed compositions, which does make single target alter egos in a little bit of a weird spot, and why they mostly are going to be used for things like boss killing. But still, having that decent amount of attack and being a buster unit means there's going to be a lot of synergy there with some really high octane supports. The HP value is, in a weird way, not really that much beefier to make up for the lack of attack. So that is probably the demerit that I really find about Super Bunyan is you have to be a little bit careful with her. If you're trying to run her in a node, you can definitely be sure that if you're giving the enemy opportunities to hit her back, that things are not going to go so well for you. She's a very offensive unit. Now, in regards, she is a Earth attribute unit. She does have 97 star absorption, which is a little bit lower than the class average, and basically 9.9 star generation, which is also a little bit lower. But she makes up for this with a 0.86 NP charge attack rate, which is much, much higher than the average. And the reason for this is, as you can see, the deck at the bottom of the screen there, basically going to be the fact that she has a triple buster setup. So naturally, whenever a unit ends up having a lot of buster cards, they usually tend to make the NP charge rate a little bit higher, since they only have that 1 or 2 cards really with the quick and the arts there to actually deal with. She also does have the 4% NP charge defense, which is a little bit higher than the overall servant-wide average of 3%, and that is going to at least help her if she does manage to get hit. You're going to get a little bit of extra charge from it. Her death rate here is 40%, which is definitely high on the average there, and something you're going to want to watch out for if you're taking her up against, say, some particularly nasty assassin bosses that might have death. Just pay attention to whether or not death proc is going to be in play and adjust accordingly, but obviously at a 40% death rate, she's going to get death proc quite a bit. Her alignment is neutral and balanced, which is at least beneficial to the sense that enemies will not be able to exploit that really against her. But unfortunately, neutral and balanced is also fairly hard to basically buff on your end, so it's not like you've got something easy to buff like chaotic or evil, or something like good or lawful or something like that. So it is just square in the middle, and there's not a whole lot of things that affect it. Her gender is obviously female, and she has the basic traits of being a fairy tale servant, a giant, a group servant, and hominide servant, humanoid, a just normal servant, and then weak to enemy elish. So some of these can actually be quite interesting, but the majority of this is going to be probably the giant one, and obviously, just her being some sort of humanoid and or normal servant is always going to be something that you'd be able to exploit against her. Again, just talking about the deck here, we've got that triple buster, that gorilla deck as we like to call it. This is going to result in some really high octane carding. Definitely going to be really nice for her for damage output, so this is going to help out, especially with considerations as to that lower attack stat. But again, remember, the attack stat is not everything. And you can see here the hit counts on all of the cards are either average or better, like is the case with the quick card. But again, otherwise, you're just going to be trying to probably form triple buster chains as much as you can for damage, or going for that quick and that arts combination with maybe, say, something like the NP for a mighty chain down the line. I'm going to start talking about and mentioning mighty chains to you guys to get you guys thinking about them. I do have a video that talks all about mighty chains and explains them. I recommend going and looking it up so that you understand how they work, because they're going to be coming to an A this anniversary. So you've only got a couple more months until that's going to start to be a thing. Now, as we start to look at the active skills here, you can see her first skill is going to increase her own attack by 3 turns and the party's buster performance by 3 turns. 30% and 20% respectively here. But again, this is going to be very similar to the same skill that she has kind of in her counterpart in her Berserker form, as basically this is going to be her party-wide buff skill. It is all on a 6-turn cooldown, which does mean that in a standard Clean Skya setup, you're getting back to this skill. So you're going to activate on turn 1 and turn 3, and then basically end up having it again and doubling it up. So for the second skill here, you've got the charge of 30%, which is definitely going to be nice because it's also on a 6-turn cooldown. That does mean she is going to work in Clean Skya setups, hence the reason I brought it up right there. And as a result, this means that you're going to be able to double pop the charge skill. This is going to make you really want to get her mana loading unlocked and lowered, because again, that's kind of how 30% units work in the grand scheme of things within a buster system. But it will be to your benefit to do so, and doing so will allow her to start from a very nice 50% starting charge standpoint, of which during this actual collab event, you will get one of the game's best ever Buster 50% CEs with cranking. That's going to be a welfare CE that you're going to get all 5 copies of, so I highly recommend leveling that craft essence to 100. It is going to be one of your best options to do so. And obviously, Super Bunyan is going to work very well with that CE. On top of this, though, that she does actually have the ability to overcharge the party's NP by 1 stage for 1 turn. This is interesting because if we start thinking about applications with the Invincible comp, you can actually use her in that. Just keep in mind that because it's only got a 1-turn duration, this does mean that you're going to want to fire off all 3 NPs to get the maximum amount of solemn defense stacks out of Castoria on the same turn that you pop this skill. Otherwise, you're just going to end up losing that overcharge stack and basically having it go to waste. But still, it does make her an option, and it is quite interesting. Her third skill here is going to seal all enemies in Ps for 1 turn. This is sort of her survival skill. It's not very much in the way of survival, but it will delay the inevitable at least, and maybe that's long enough to allow you to kill the enemy, or stall long enough to get someone's survival cooldown back to protect the party. Either way, it is an interesting thing. Just keep in mind, if you do seal the enemy's NP, they have no choice other than to attack you or pop skills. So just take that in mind if you're worried about people's health values at that moment. Reducing their critical attack chance for 3 turns is also going to be somewhat decent, as this is going to basically stop them, especially at a 30% value there. It's going to stop most enemies without a crit chance buff from being able to really crit you, and that's going to be really, really nice. It's going to somewhat mitigate some of the damage that the party is going to be receiving. And then it's also going to increase the party's critical star absorption for buster cards for 3 turns. So this is not just Bunyan that's going to end up soaking more stars. It's also going to end up being anybody's buster cards. And since Bunyan's first skill does buff the party's buster performance, this is kind of nice. This is going to even make your supports also be able to potentially get some decent damage in, even if you're not wanting to have to rely on their cards, but maybe you're stuck with it because it's the only card that you're dealt. It does give you a decent option. So I do think that is a really nice synergistic skill with relation to the first skill that she has. Then we get to her passive skills, and this is where things actually get interesting. So she's got Magic Resistance C for just some additional debuff resistance, Item Construction C for some debuff success rate, but most importantly, a unique passive here called the Power of Like EX. This is going to grant herself a buff whenever she attacks that will grant her a stack of like. And that like buff basically is lasting for 3 turns and will allow her to get super effective damage from her NP. You can stack up to a maximum of 10 likes for the extra damage on the NP, so it's really, really nice. And the good part about this is it does not have any sort of special classification with relation to this. It just says when attacking. So because it doesn't specify anything else, it will apply with extra attacks and the NP itself. So getting to 10 stacks is actually not that unreasonable and something that you reasonably could do if you manage to get a bunch of cards fall your way with some basically some extra attacks and stuff like that. But again, it is going to be somewhat difficult to do so without just sitting there and firing off the NP and getting double cards and the extra attack every single time. But still, I do think this is really nice for her. And then she also ends up getting the buff on defense, basically, where whenever she gets hit by an enemy, this will also generate a stack. So particularly if you're in a boss battle or a challenge fight, Bunyan is going to get stacks from anytime she gets a hit. Anytime she hits the enemy or anytime she herself is hit. So really, really nice in that regard, as it's just going to mean that basically anything that happens is going to end up making Bunyan stronger as the fight goes on. Obviously, there is that 3-turn duration where things will fall off, but still, you can be reasonably assured that as long as you're just kind of firing on all cylinders, that Bunyan is going to be hitting decently hard. With regards to her pin skills, again, as I said before, I highly recommend lowering the mana loading. That should be the first use of any coins that you get would be unlocking this. So definitely, if you only get the first copy of Bunyan, try to get her to Bond 6. Try to get this mana loading unlocked and lowered, as that will actually just improve her usability in a Koyanskaya setup. Outside of that, certainly it's up to you to determine what to do. You do have the anti-berserker attack damage append though here, which is really nice. It's absolutely not necessary, but it just means that Bunyan is going to deal even more damage to units that she actually does end up finding in the way of her effectiveness here in terms of like berserker. So she will already be somewhat applicable to cavalry classes, adding in Berserker, which she was already going to be 1.5 times effective against, basically, or sorry, 2 times effective against. And then adding in some additional capability to that is just making her even stronger. And then we have the first skill here with the extra attack finesse. This one is going to be the odd man out, but still somewhat useful, as we already mentioned that due to the like stacks, you're probably going to want to do brave chains and get extra attacks with Bunyan. So making the extra attack hit harder, generate more stars, and generate more NP, always going to be nice for that. And then we come to the Noble Phantasm. It is a 3-hit single target buster NP. It deals damage to one enemy and then deals super effective damage to enemies based off the number of stacks you have, up to a maximum of 10. Now, the important thing to note here is that this does not scale like some of the other super effective NPs that have stack ability. This one is only 5% per stack, which means it's got a maximum of 150% there. But still, it is going to be fairly powerful, and it will allow Bunyan to really pop off. Her overcharge effect is also going to reduce the target's defense for 3 turns by 10%, but because it's 3 turns, this does mean that it will stack. It will not apply to the first NP that you do in terms of adding damage, but it will apply to any subsequent NPs that you do. So it is pretty interesting in that regard, as if you are going up against a boss or someone, say, with break bars, and Bunyan just keeps NPing, Bunyan is going to keep NPing them harder and harder, provided they don't resist this or have debuff immunity. So it is another nice sort of feather in her cap in that regard. Now, let's go ahead and talk to you guys about certain setups. And I do recommend, in terms of craft essences, you could do something like Black Grail on her and just get a ton of damage. But with this coming out right at the exact same time as the Mississippi Mythicizers event, the Learning with Manga collab, if you will, that is going to be the perfect recommendation to just go ahead and use cranking, which is the nice CE from that event. So you're not going to really see me do too many extra recommendations in terms of craft essences for Bunyan on this. But just talking about Bunyan's actual damage numbers here, we do end up having some math for you guys because I know how much you like this. And you guys can see the actual damage capability. All of this is neutral numbers and self buffs only. So basically, we don't consider external buffing for the purposes of this chart in particular. Like, there's no buffing coming in from supports or anything like that. So you can see at NP1, just under normal conditions, she would deal about 40k. But with even one like, and remember, you can pre-card the NP in order to get more likes. So that can definitely help you out. Even with one like, you're already getting about, 2,500 damage spike right there. And again, this can just scale up and up and up all the way up to 10 likes, where pretty much by 10 likes, you've increased the damage output by 50%. And that is exactly kind of what you saw on the NP there. But if you start looking down the list as well, you start looking at something like NP5. NP5 is even more powerful than getting the 50% increase there. But you could also end up getting it as well and get something pretty insane like 101k neutral damage, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. So still pretty nice there. We do have some damage scenarios for you, and this is going to be the first one right here is going to be basically using Super Bunyan at NP1 with 2 times Koyanskaya of Light, Oberon, and basically a 1-1-1 type of neutral node. We've got a level 100 cranking, a level 10 Neo plug suit. These are just assumptions. You don't have to do this. But basically, this is what it would look like if essentially you were basically just NPing here on the left side. And then in the middle, it would be if you always did 1 card before the NP. And then on the right side, it would be if you always did 2 cards before the NP. So you can see basically here at NP1, NP2, and NP3, just kind of how they work. And it's really, really interesting to see that just how scalable it is in that regard. Because pretty much by wave 3, if you can even get to 8 likes at that point, you're looking at something like 520k there in terms of the damage. So pretty spicy considering this is still just neutral numbers. So what that means, again, just to clarify, is if we're talking neutral numbers here and you're up against, say, a cavalry class unit, so something like, say, a caster, this means that Bunyan's going to do 1.5 times that damage number there. So you saw that 520. It means Bunyan's instead going to do something in the order of like 760 or something like that. You're going to get a lot more firepower out of it, and that is going to be some pretty respectable damage, especially considering we're not using Black Grail and stuff like that in this scenario. And this is exactly what it would look like basically at NP2, pretty much the exact same chart as I explained before, where essentially you've got it where like it's got NP2, then NP2 with 1 like, and NP2 with 2 likes, then NP2 with 1 like, NP2 with 3 likes, NP2 with 5 likes, and then NP2 with 2 likes, NP2 with 5 likes, and NP2 with 8 likes. And all the way on the right side over here with 8 likes, you're dealing with basically 700k in terms of damage. And just kind of zoom in here on some of the others to make the numbers a little bit more visible for you to see. Again, it is a very dealable amount of damage. It's just going to require you to play the cards and actually work. But if we're talking 3 turns, it's reasonable to assume you're going to get all of Bunyan's cards, pending some sort of nasty thing like someone dying and the cards getting reshuffled. But obviously, you should be able to rely on that. Now, in scenario 2 here, we've got the same enemy scenario, but this time it's going to be against a sort of boss enemy. So this is assuming, again, as you guys can see here, the cards basically before the NP and then an extra attack. But again, this is double Koyanskaya, Oberon, level 100 cranking, and a Neo plug, and you guys get some easy gist at here at NP1 and then NP2 in terms of the damage capability that Super Bunyan's going to end up having. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, though. How does this stack up against other options, against Bunyan's competition? So, for instance, if we were to compare this to something like, say, Melt, this is 2 times Summer Scotty with a Oberon and level 100 Knights and Marines. It's going to be basically Melt's best scenario there with a Neo plug suit. Now, again, this is assuming a 3-turn, and in a lot of these, it's not necessarily fair to assume a 3-turn in all these scenarios. Sometimes you just may want to throw on a Black Grail and try to one-shot an enemy, but the reality of this is a lot of the times in FGO, we're looking at break bars, and that's just kind of par for the course. So taking that in mind with Melt, you can see where Melt's damage ends up landing is very much in that same degree of area, but not quite as high on the like high end. So certainly Melt is no slouch, and I think without having to deal with the shenanigans of the likes and trying to like card it out, even though that will be fairly consistent for you, I think it is somewhat easy to see that Melt is just going to be consistently high damage. Now, we also do have Seatonai, and actually Seatonai is pretty impressive in this regard, because Seatonai at this point can basically 3-turn with a Black Grail. Again, these are just neutral numbers, but we've got Seatonai 2 times Castoria, Oberon, level 100 Black Grail, and level 10 Neo plug suit. And right there you can see at NP1, Seatonai basically only coming in at 430k, so similar to Melt numbers there. But basically, if we even add the attack up from the skill 3, at that point you're already at 485, and then at MP2 and basically adding in the attack up, things just start to actually get a little bit stronger. So it is pretty interesting in that regard. Now, we also end up having numbers for Bazette here, and I'm sorry that just opened on the other screen. And just to give you guys an idea, this is going to be Bazette with 2 times Summer Scotty, Oberon, level 100 Knights and Marines, and a Neo plug suit. Just keep in mind, we had to factor this by number of hits because, well, enemies don't necessarily always trigger Bazette's NP. For instance, if they just pop a skill that buffs themselves, it will not trigger Bazette's NP. But you can see comparable numbers here, basically at NP1, basically up to 3 hits. You've got even by wave 3 about 400k, a little bit less. So Bazette kind of coming in under some of the numbers that you've seen from some of the other units. But again, it is somewhat RNG, but a little bit also reactive to the enemy, which has its advantages at times. And you can see right here that basically with the power mod, you're also going to end up getting quite good numbers at that point. And then NP2, the numbers actually get a lot better there by the end as we start dealing with, again, up to 631k. So Bazette is no slouch either in that regard. And then probably the one you're going to want to know the most about is going to be Mecha Ellie, aka Mecha Liz. So Mecha Liz with Koyanskaya and double Oberon with a level 100 K scope, which is going to be her best scenario for 3-turning, still does really respectable numbers. And that's kind of really funny if you consider that. So if you guys do have Mecha Ellie, please don't feel like you have to roll, because Mecha Ellie is still very usable. She doesn't have the best kit. She doesn't necessarily have all the bells and whistles in terms of survivability that someone like, say, Melt does. But certainly, yeah, as far as damage goes, she can still pretty much hang with the rest of the members of the Alter Ego class there. So don't look the gift horse in the mouth. It's a free unit, and you can still do a lot as long as you have the setup to do that. But then we've also got some comparisons to some cavalry classes. And, well, this is where things actually get interesting, because Ozzy doesn't play around. These are still neutral numbers. And the reason this is something I have to say is because if we're talking 1.0 effectiveness basically for all these units, then you have to consider that the actual alter ego effectiveness against something like cavalry class units, like let's say a caster, is going to be 1.5. But, well, a rider against a caster is going to be 2.0 instead. So they're going to be getting a lot more damage. So these coming in as neutral numbers Yeah, if we're talking casters, you get to double this. So in that regard, alter egos can't really hang with a lot of the cavalry classes in that same degree when they're actually in their niche. Alter ego damage is not bad though. It's no slouch. It's just it's not going to outpace them by design, and I think that's actually good balance for the game. But Ozzy is certainly sort of the best of these, as he has just become cracked over time with the amount of buffs that he's gotten. We do end up having a unit like San Zhang as well to compare to, and this is where the numbers get a lot more respectable here, as San Zhang's pretty much going to get outclassed by these alter egos, but is going to end up winning by virtue of class effectiveness. So that's something you have to consider is, yes, at certain points, the actual casters will be able to outpace, the actual writers will be able to outpace, the actual assassins will be able to outpace your alter egos. And then pretty much here giving you First Hassan as your assassin comparison. First Hassan, definitely still interesting, and no, the alter egos are still probably not going to beat him without more NP levels or some sort of niche at play. So again, I have seen this time and time again where people just say, oh, but the assassins are actually just, you know, straight up worse than alter egos. It's like, it's not really true in a lot of circumstances. You do still have the ability to outscale them in terms of damage, and I think that's something a lot of people overlook, especially given the fact that if you're actually taking the true effective class, it also means they're taking half damage, where alter egos are going to end up taking 1 times, aka neutral damage from the cavalry triangle. So something you got to watch out for, as they'll take a little bit more than, say, taking the actual effective cavalry unit to counter. But again, I do think Super Bunyan is a quality unit. I think Super Bunyan is not someone to take lightly or overlook, because she can do a ton of damage, and she can really help you just ramp up that card damage and help the party in the process. But she is not someone you have to have. You're not going to hear me say you must roll for her, because I'm a proponent of just trying to tell you how to get the most out of the units and letting you decide what to do and who to roll on. So let me know in the comments below. Are you guys going to be rolling for Super Bunyan, or are you guys skipping until, say, something like Summer or Anniversary? I'll be curious to hear you guys' thoughts. Also, which Ascension for Super Bunyan is your favorite? If you have one, I'll be curious. So I will see you guys for the next video. We'll be talking Daiko Kuten. See you guys later. Boom. There you go, chat. Oh, easy skip. Wow. Shame. Laughs and hieroglyphs. Ozzy do be doing his thing. Yeah, Ozzy's damage is just fucking disgusting. I'm sorry. Like, oh my god, even an NP2 Ozzy, like, this does require a very nice 60% C to pull this number, but like, fuck, man, that's strong. And I think a lot of people, like, I'm not gonna say they don't get that. I think people do know that Ozzy's strong, but I think they don't necessarily know how strong. I might roll for some C's, but I really want Miss Crane. Ah, I see. I like the numbers of the funny laughing man. Dajaku, Dajaku. I'm a little surprised I haven't gotten spooked by Ozzy yet. I think I only have like NP3 myself. I like, out of all this time, he's someone that I would love to have more of, but he just has not shown up a ton. So I'm glad older units aren't power crept. Oh no, that's not true at all. Older units are absolutely power crept. There's just some older units that power creep everybody else. Like, and it is what it is. I think they definitely try to keep some units strong. I think that's apparent as we look at some of these units over the years. And it's what I think is sad for a lot of people, because they go like, oh, you know, like, in comparison, like, why isn't Ketz buffed up to the same degree as Ozzy? Because for years, Ketz and Ozzy dealt about the same level of damage. In fact, I believe they were off by like less than 100 points of damage. But it is interesting to see that Ozzy has just gotten way more attention, way more buffs in that regard. Whereas, interestingly enough, Ketz has maybe gotten more like story attention. So I'm not really sure how to feel about that, but I can say it's like, yeah, I do wish that they would like bring someone like Ketsup into line. But it just is what it is. I think it's they play their favorites, and they have people that I guess maybe for lore reasons or whatever that they want to keep strong, and that's what they do. My first SSR spook was Audi. Nice. Odysseus is actually like, he's another kind of overlooked unit where people are like, I don't really need him. I have all these other units. It's like, yeah, but there's some times where actually having Ozzy is like really, really, really nice. And part of the reason why is because, sorry, Odysseus, not Ozzy. Part of the reason why having Odysseus is really good is because he just basically is going to eat any defense buffs you have. He's going to strip them, and thus you're not going to stop him. So there is the occasional like really annoying caster boss that Odysseus just goes, haha, bet, and just like destroys. Oh nice, Fiverr is spamming me to unlock AI's potential for my business. Okay, chat, what were we? Oh, right. It's that time, chat. So it's 9 o'clock. I have done my recording for the day. We have done the CQ. I wish we could have gotten to the, advanced quests. I don't know. My brain couldn't think of it. But tomorrow we'll be doing the whatchamacallit, the Olga quest on JP, and that one's going to be an interesting one. I don't know how long that will take me. If it doesn't take me very long at all, we'll have time for advanced quests. If it takes me too long, we won't have time for advanced quests. So it is what it is, and I'm just going to say, if I don't get to do the advanced quest with you guys on stream, I'm sorry. I will try to find the time, and if you want, I can hold it for you guys to do only on stream for a day where we don't have a lot going on. But at least like this week, I'm just like jam packed with trying to catch up on things and trying to record. So I'm kind of caught between two things, rock and a hard place. They're not running away, yeah, and it's like we're not even close to getting our first MLB yet, anyways. I never correlated better with story lock. Yeah, I don't think they need to make story locked units better, but I do think they should keep story lock units on par. And the only reason why I'll say that is because, yeah, they're just legitimately difficult to get your hands on. It's like kind of to justify that, it feels like they should. But it's like I don't need, it's like, oh man, the story locked unit has to be the best in the game. No, I don't agree with that either. AQ forever backburner. Eventually we'll get to them. Yeah, and I wouldn't worry about them too much, chat. They're not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things, because just getting the singular copy of the CE is like, well, it's nice, I guess, if you have to run that, but it's not making that big of an impact. It's not really until you get your own MLB and then take a supports MLB that you're like, okay, now I can feel the drop rate difference, is basically how the advanced quests work. And in the meantime, they kind of just bloat your craft essence inventory. So at least story luck 5 stars are in V-Day. Yeah. And the one upside to the way that they do banners nowadays is like rotational banners like Valentine's Day and Chaldea Boys are much easier now, because you just have a sole devoted rate up instead of, you used to have, here's the Valentine's unit for this year with the like side unit who's on rate up, and you had to like roll a dual banner, and that was kind of annoying for some people depending on their luck. So now you just get like, here's a solo rate up, you roll that, enjoy. Archery plus sight, yeah, exactly. Would you recommend Faker for someone that doesn't have her yet? Yeah, I think she's good. The only issue with that is that like NP1 of Faker really struggles on damage, but I mean, you got to get NP1 to get to NP2 eventually. So And I think just having a 100% charging unit is always going to be worth. Imagine if they kept SSR banners. You could roll Castoria or Scheherazade. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think people want those splits, right? And that's, I get it. I understand why people feel that way. But okay, so we're going to start the media share portion of stream. I'm sorry to everybody on the YouTube side of things, but I must end the stream over there because YouTube does not like copyright anything. So it is what it is. But if you guys want, you guys can come over to the Twitch side of things if you want to watch along. But I will not blame you if I don't see you guys until tomorrow. So ta-ta for now, YouTube. I'll see you guys tomorrow and have a good one.